Right, the other we've already discovered about our plasma membrane. We've already discussed about how certain substance can pass through our membranes. And we've already discovered that in hypertonic and isotonic solution, how the substance move around. But now we're going to look at how this understanding over the transport of substance across plasma membrane apply to organism. So over here I have two organisms, which is the plant and the human. But here we're going to focus only on the root hair structure, and in human we're just going to focus on our villus. This is something that you've already learned in your Form 2 science during your digestion, how substance are moving through your villus. Alright, so let's start with our plant first. So for plant, the movement of substances occur at the root hair cell. It's not at the main root structure, but at the root hair cell, where substances can move in and out of the cell depending on the concentration around it. So for example, for water, it can move in as well and it can move out depending whether the soil is hypotonic or hypertonic towards the cell. And then we have nitrates. We have substances such as sodium, calcium. These are macronutrients that are needed by the plants to carry out their daily life as well as to promote their own growth. Now, when we look at the transport, we are just going to focus only on these two. So the root hair is actually a very thin cell that is connected directly to the vascular bundle. Now, what is vascular bundle? Vascular bundle is your xylem and phloem that is responsible in transporting the substance within the plant. So, what happened here? At the root, if let's say this is a dicotyledon plant, we have this root structure. The vascular bundle have this structure, where the center is the xylem and the surrounding it is actually the phloem. So what happened here, when we look at these two substances, for water is transported via osmosis. And we've already discovered that osmosis is a movement that is actually part of the passive transport and do not require any ATP to transport the water across. Now, since they are transported via osmosis, these water molecules are affected by the concentration of salt in soil. So what does this mean? It means that if, let's say, your soil have a hypertonic solution or a hypertonic condition towards the cell. So what happens if hypertonic? Water will move out from your cell. So what happens? If your water move out from cell, water from the top will actually escape from the plant through a process that you're going to learn later, which is transpiration, and all the remaining water in the plant will not be replenished by your root tissue because now your water is moving out. So the end result to the plant is that the plant will start to wilt. So, does that mean the plant is dead? No. It just means that the entire tissue of the plant is now not having enough water. We only see this in balsamic plant, means that the stem is green because their support system require the water to allow the plant to be turgid. That's why when the condition of the soil is hypotonic, now what happened here? Now water moves into cell. So what do we observe at our plant? We saw that our plant becomes turgid. Right. Next, we go to our nitrates. For the nitrates ion, this ion is specifically transported via active transport. So what does this mean? This transport of nitrate require ATP to bring the substance into the cell. So we have our root hair cells, and then we have our nitrate ion. Now this nitrate ion is much lesser in the soil than it is in the cell. So there are more nitrates in cell than there are in soil. So what happened? Because plant require nitrate to carry out the rest of its process, including to growth, assisting in photosynthesis, as well as to form their own hormones. So we have auxin, we have ethylene. So all these hormones require nitrogen that the plant can't produce themselves. So they need to bring the nitrates in. So they are transported into cell via active transport and require the ATP to be converted into ADP. Okay, so here where the concentration of nitrates in the soil is, when the concentration of nitrate in the soil is less, regardless of what the plant cell, the plant tissue will bring it in using active transport. There is no passive transport of nitrate because the concentration of nitrate in soil, regardless of what, still much lesser compared to the concentration of nitrate within the plant itself. Right? So what happened here? The nitrates ion are not affected by the concentration. Next, we look at our own tissue, which is the villus within our intestine. So the transport of substance within the villus is similar to our plant, but we do not uptake the nitrates. Now, in our intestine, the intestine is quite long. We have three structures, the duodenum, ileum, and jejunum. So what happened? The digestion of enzyme mostly require in the duodenum department, and the absorption occur in ileum and jejunum. So absorption occur mostly in these two structures, and the absorption of substances, they follow the concentration gradient. We do not carry active transport for our digestion. We only use active transport when we are doing our excretion process, where urea is actively transported into the kidney, and sodium and chloride are actively transported out of the kidney. But for intestine, we just use passive transport, where water moves into the blood capillary via osmosis, glucose, they move into the blood capillary along with amino acid. This one is via facilitated diffusion. And then we have our ions. So this is also via blood capillary, and the method is still facilitated diffusion. And we have our fatty acids, glycerols, vitamin A. So these three substances are transported